Hello and welcome back to A World Without with me, Kris.
And me, Jack. This is the podcast where we get into the hypothetical and discuss what we think would happen if something from our everyday lives suddenly stopped existing tomorrow.
Yes, we do. And today we're taking a look at what life might be like in a world without death. Oh dear. So, bit of a deep, morbid one today.
It is.
Death. But it shouldn't be, though, should it? Because we're talking about a world without death.
Yes.
It's actually a great thing. This is lovely.
You'd think so.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But I guess it's like that whole psychological, don't think of an elephant. What do you think of?
Elephant?
Elephants.
So now we're thinking about death, so now we're sad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because like you say, death's a horrible thing. You feel like you should be like, this is good. But I immediately thought, oh, that's bad.
Oh, bad, isn't it? Naughty death. Yeah, It's like, if I gave you a birthday card and I was like, to Jack, happy birthday. Here's to many more years of living, and here's to many more years of not drowning in a vat of acid. All the best.
It's a bit unnecessary.
You know what I mean? You're still like, don't want that.
Why'd you bring that up?
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about that until you did.
Exactly. It leaves a nasty taste in the mouth, which acid would. Probably.
Don't think that's your biggest problem.
Maybe not.
The first thing my mind went to, though, was like, obviously, overpopulation. Like, it's great that people aren't dying, but, it's quite a lot of us.
Them non-dying people got to go somewhere, haven't they?
Oh, exactly. Population has doubled. I'm going to get a bit statisticky and numbersy on you here, so settle in, everyone.
Okay.
Population doubled in 40 years between 1959 and 1999, from 3 billion to 6 billion people. That's a lot of people, right? There are currently 7.7 billion people on the planet, estimated to rise to 8 billion in 2023, 9 billion in 2037, and 10 billion people by 2055. And that's in a world where people are dying, right?
My goodness.
So if people stop dying, that's a problem. Last year, the population rose by like 78 million people approximately, but 52 million people died. Meaning 130 million people would have added last year. So we're going to be getting a lot more people a lot quicker.
More people will be around. I did some facts of my own as well. Do you want me to throw some facts at you too? 2 people die every second, apparently.
Dead. That's horrible.
It's
Don't
horrible.
Think about that.
Stop killing people, Jack. But that means roughly on average, from the average length of our podcasts, 3,000 people die every podcast.
Do you reckon anyone's ever died listening?
Possibly. I mean, hopefully it's not our fault.
Hopefully.
I mean, unless they died of laughter, which case still, I'd rather not.
I'd rather not.
But, if they had to...
That's a pretty good way to go, isn't it?
It's a good way to go laughing.
Yeah. Yeah, basically without death, population grows by approximately 50% quicker.
Right.
So where will everyone live, Kris?
In the loft of other people.
Yeah.
Got a spare loft, spare cellar in the bottom. Just rent it out.
Rent it out.
It's all good.
So landlords do well out of this.
Landlords do fantastic.
People who build houses do well.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I did a few more numbers, if you wouldn't mind.
Go for it. I could do some more numbers.
Because I actually don't think space is going to be our problem. Right? The amount of space we have.
Not
up in the sky.
Not the
I
solar
don't
system.
think the amount of room we have is going to be the problem. Because the average house size in the US is 225 metres squared of space. Which, by the way, is huge, because the UK average is 65 metres squared. So basically, US people have 4 times bigger houses than us. So what's that about? Anyway, that's not the point. The US itself is 9.8 trillion metres squared, meaning that all current 7.7 billion people in the world could just move to the US alone and have 1,270 metres squared each, meaning every single person, man, woman, and child, would have 5 average US house sizes each. Every little baby would have 5...
Would have 5 houses. What would a baby do with 5
Exactly.
houses?
They don't actually get the houses. That's how much space they have.
Right.
Or 20 UK average house sizes. So basically,
goodness.
we could quintuple our population and still all have a house each. That's without even living together. Every single person gets 1 house size each. We could 20 times our population and get a UK house size each. So space isn't really going to be a problem. And that's all just living in the US.
Eventually, it will become a problem. Because with a world without death, this problem is just getting pushed into the future.
20 times our population, our current population, 20 times it. That's still going to take a long time. And that's just only in the US alone.
Yeah, I know, but it's still... Normally, I'd say, well, it's not a problem for our lifetime. But our lifetime's just gone forever now.
But I think in the time it would take to get to 20 times our population, firstly, we'd probably just be like, people, stop having kids.
Stop having kids, everyone.
You do the whole China rule, the one child rule thing, yeah?
Yeah. Well, that's still... We still have not one person leaving, though, as well. So it's still going to end up being a problem in the future. But then
if we want 20 times our population, and by that point, we'd have probably worked out how to get to Mars.
You're right. So then we could start the problem on Mars
So
instead.
I'm not saying there wouldn't be problems, like, just generally amount of energy, resources, the amount of waste we're going to create. These are all big problems. But I'm just saying, space isn't our problem.
Okay.
We have enough room for everyone.
Well, that's one tick.
We have enough room for everyone as long as we all just share the space out equally, right? There's enough space for all of us, no matter how many people we get. The problem is the amount of stuff we would need.
Yeah.
So,
And then you're not thinking about animals either. And germs.
So is this, a world without anything dying?
Just if something dies normally, not anymore, it sticks around.
Oh, I didn't even get into this thinking.
Neither did I. I've only just thought of it.
What about our cells die and because they need to? Does that mean they die? I don't know enough about biology.
We're not qualified to answer this question.
We're not really, no. Basically, it feels like it'd be bad in some kind of biological sense if cells didn't start dying and there wasn't some kind of regeneration.
That's our report to the government. Yeah. It's just bad.
Probably not good, is it? This one. But I was thinking about, obviously, with so many people to feed suddenly with this ever-increasing population, starvation would be a problem. But it's not like we could die from starvation, is it?
No, true. You just get really, really hungry.
So we could basically never eat and be fine.
I think you still need food for the energy and stuff. So you'd eventually just come to grind to a halt.
You'd be alive, but you'd just be lying there, but unable to move.
Pretty much. Someone put a yogurt in my mouth.
Yeah. Because that's the question. Do we still have illness?
I think so. It's not a world without illness, is it? It's just the death part.
So basically, we just become zombies. You'd be really, really ill. So you just would never die.
Well, that's the thing. You don't become a zombie because to become a zombie, you got to die first. Right, okay. There's a whole step to it. It's actually quite complicated process to become a zombie.
Whereas we don't have that.
We don't
just
have that.
Really unwell.
Just really unwell.
But surely eventually everyone becomes ill because old age takes place and stuff. But would aging happen? Because basically aging is like
the dying of
cells and stuff.
The rebirth of new ones.
I think so. Would we not age?
In my little simple brain, I imagine we did still age. But just...
So what does a 1,000-year-old look like?
Awful. We'll find out in 1,000 years, I guess.
It must look horrible. Do you not think that must be...
Yeah.
So if you're born...
I'm sure at that stage you're not trying to find a date or anything, are you? So it's probably all right.
Yeah, we'd have to age, because otherwise, if you're born, you'd stay...
We just have a bunch of babies living around, but, there's plenty of houses to go around for them, so...
But then, would you even grow into a baby? Because if that's part of the aging, isn't it?
Just a bunch of little...
Fetuses
wandering about.
Oh... So then population wouldn't be a problem because no one's technically ever been born.
Or they can fit in the size of like a matchbox or something, so it's all good. It's
fine.
Just get these matchbox hotels.
Okay. No, I reckon I'm with you. I reckon we do have to age. But then that raises the point of what does a 1,000-year-old look like? That'd be horrible.
Can't wait.
This is actually like a horror scenario.
Yeah, but there's going to be, millions of people reaching that age all at the same time, all around the world.
No, but I'm just saying, I think of how decrepit an 120-year-old is, or however the oldest person in the world is. Can you imagine how decrepit and awful life would be, and how painful it would be if you were 1,000 years old?
You're going to have to just really start looking after your body a lot more. We kind of know we got about 100 years in us, maybe, if we're lucky. So we just got to forget that and just push it to forever. 100 years old's the new 20 or something like that. Because you could still lose your limbs and things like that. Yes. So you'd probably just end up as kind of like a brain in a jar.
Right.
That's
again,
our
it sounds
end
like a
goal.
horror situation because you're still alive, you're still conscious, but you're just...
Yeah, hopefully science will get to the point where you could still have a digital body, basically. I think that's kind of the area we need to move into. Because otherwise, I don't want to be a brain in a jar.
So we still feel pain, I presume?
Yeah.
Because
that was another podcast, by the way. Check it out.
Well, I know, yeah. Because what happens if you drown or get set on fire or get your head chopped off?
Just a bit annoying. You just go, guess what I did the other day? Drowned.
But it's got to be horrible. But what if you get thrown into the ocean? So you're just forever alive at the bottom of the ocean, just like, I can't drown, did it? But, you're gonna sit around here.
Pretty much.
I think this might be the worst one we've come up with.
Try and get out. Maybe it is.
This
morbid.
one's horrible.
This is just this is terrible. This is worse. I think we should keep death, please.
Yeah. Surprisingly, death's a good thing. That's what I've learned.
One person this is really going to affect is the older Grim Reaper. He's now out of a job, pretty much. That was his only thing.
Maybe he just gets to retire.
Maybe.
Nice for him,
I mean, it's probably about time, isn't it? But I was thinking of other things he could do as a job. And obviously, he carries around a scythe.
Farmer?
Pretty much. That's what that does. It's an agricultural hand tool for mowing grass. Yeah. Not very scary, really, is it?
I mean, if someone was coming at you with it, you probably would.
True, but
out the way.
It's like we were coming up with him.
It's like an axe is just for cutting down trees, Chris. But if someone was firing at you,
I think he'd be scarier with an axe.
You think axe
What's
is
he going to come and do?
scarier than
Come and
You've
cut
got
my
more
grass?
reach with a scythe.
He's going to make my lawn a bit too short, is he?
No, I think he's going to hit you in the head with it.
Not cut my head off for it. I don't think that's what he does, though. He just touches you, doesn't he? And you die. He doesn't even need a scythe.
Right. I'm not up on my Grim Reaper.
He's got like magic fingers or something. Yeah, pretty much. So I've been told.
I don't know the legend of the Grim Reaper. I'm not going to lie. I'm not up on my death legends.
Sit down, and I shall
regale me the story. A point about retirement, no? When is it now?
What's the point?
If we live forever, surely there's no retirement age.
Maybe I'll have to start sorting jobs into what you can and can't do. It's like the young people will have to do all the really active jobs, and then all the old brain in the jar people.
Not much job you can do with your brain in the jar, is there?
Bit of accounting, maybe.
We just work forever. This is horrible. This is getting worse and worse.
You need money to live forever.
I know.
To buy all these houses in America or wherever you've chosen to go and live.
And what if you are currently retired when this happens? Does that mean you have to go back to work now? You've been enjoying your retirement nice for 10 years. Suddenly, no death anymore. You're going to live forever. Got to go back to work. Ugh. This is horrible.
Sorry, everyone. I mean, we're all in the same boat, really.
Yeah, but it's a horrible boat.
Who I feel sorry for are the people that just died yesterday.
I reckon they've got that out of a truly horrible situation. I want to be those people in this situation. They just managed to avoid the most horrific situation
the
ever.
Hellish situation. Yeah, maybe.
Although, whoever is currently the oldest person alive would forever be the oldest person alive.
Whoa, yeah.
They become like some celebrity.
That's it. The Guinness World Records wouldn't even need to bother with anyone else anymore.
Once they've worked it out.
Permanent record. Talking about immortal things, there is actually something in the world that is immortal.
Go on.
I see that very
skeptical
look there. It's a jellyfish. It ages backwards to avoid death.
Benjamin Button?
No, it's a jellyfish.
But is his name Benjamin Button?
I mean, I'm sure there's one out there called Benjamin Button.
As if you're not naming that jellyfish species Benjamin Button. Come on.
I guess so. Ben Jelly Button.
Ben Jelly
Sounds
Button.
like a sandwich, doesn't it? Like a Ben Jelly Button sandwich.
Anyway, sorry, we got
I was trying to be scientific. So they age backwards to avoid death. So you can just keep on going like a yo-yo jellyfish. So if it loses a limb or something, it ages backwards to the point where it's got cells that can grow things.
I don't know what you're saying.
Again. Neither do I, but I'm just reading what I've learned.
What you're saying doesn't actually mean anything to me. What do you mean it ages? But so it's born at its death and then it goes back to its birth?
Sorry. So it's born like a normal baby's born, grows up a little bit, and then if at any point it gets an illness or a bit chopped off of it or something, it can go, oh, hello, I'm reversing, and it goes back into a kind of state of baby embryo-ness, regrows itself to full health.
Are you trying to say there is a jellyfish out there that has been alive forever?
We're not sure, and I'm saying we like I'm one of the scientists that are out there checking this out. I'm not.
Why? Look, I mean, I'm not for killing animals, right? But for science purposes, why don't we just try and kill the thing?
Just all crazy different. Drop an anvil on it. Oh, that didn't work. What else we got?
Because that's an easy way to work out if it's immortal or not.
Well, hey, maybe we need to experiment on it so that we can get the gene so that we can become immortal. Not that we want to.
Which we've worked out is awful.
But, some people might want to.
But I just don't believe this thing actually is immortal. I believe it can regenerate itself, sure. That's a different thing. There are lizards can regenerate their tail. That's not immortality.
You're trying to argue with Google, mate?
Yes, I am trying to argue with Google. Come at me, Google.
Yeah, it'd be pretty weird though, wouldn't it? If we had that, you'd be like, "You coming out to the pub later tonight?" You'd be like, "Nah, sorry, can't. I tripped over my leg. I'm 14 again. can't make it."
Yeah, that'd be quite annoying.
Yeah.
Although, if for those people who didn't want to grow up, just get old,
you're talking about Peter Pan.
No, I'm just talking about when you start reaching 40s, 50s, people are like, I want to be younger again. Just start hurting yourself. And I'm 20 now.
Hey, new from Nivea.
Yeah,
a knife.
The de-aging knife. Just stab yourself a few times, you'll be alright. I reckon they become like a whole subculture of people who are trying to experiment to see what the limits are to death. If we couldn't die, like you just said, drop an anvil on it, set it on fire. There must be a whole subculture of people being like, "Nah, I reckon we can die."
It's almost a race.
Yeah,
who can die first.
I don't reckon you've tried hard enough. Chop my head off. Go on, see what happens.
Maybe drop an anvil whilst chopping my head off at the same time. Multiple.
Lock me in a box and throw me in the ocean.
Yeah.
I reckon people would be determined to find a way.
You could almost televise it as kind of like the new extreme sport.
Definitely.
Because extreme sports aren't going to be particularly interesting anymore either.
No.
It's like, oh, he's bungee jumping off the top of Everest set on fire. I did that last week.
Yeah. Although, as we established, pain is still a thing, so it'd probably be a bit like, why are you doing that, mate?
That's
It's
true.
gonna work. If you parachute without a parachute,
So it's not really parachuting, is it?
if you jump out of a plane and you hit the ground, you're gonna live, but you're not gonna be in a good way, are you?
Oh, yeah, because you're going to be completely... again, basically, your brain...
You're gonna be mush.
Brain jar or robot. One of
But
the
what
two.
if you like set your brain on fire? You know what I mean? Like, what if you smash it into 1,000 pieces? How are you still alive?
That's not for me to tell you, Jack. That's the mysteries of science at work, right
Okay.
there.
But this is what I mean. This is what people are going to experiment with. I think they're going to put a brain in a blender, see what happens.
Positive coming out of all this, wars would probably stop for a bit, I guess, because
No point, is there?
the goal is to try and cause enough death to the enemy that they kind of give up, or that they're all dead. So I was thinking we still kind of would have war. I'm sure there'll be people that disagree a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the new thing they could do is prank wars, but on like an extreme.
Prank an entire country.
Prank an entire nation or something like that. You know, you'd be like, Switzerland, we're going to put all of your hands in buckets of water overnight until you give us that trade deal. You're going to wee yourself.
Right.
And then eventually they'd go, all right, I can't do a Swedish accent, but we're
Switzerland a second ago, mate.
both of them. I want trade deals from both of those places.
I think a funny one, you know, like sometimes you cling film all your mate's stuff.
Yeah.
Just do that with an entire country.
Wrap
just
it.
going to cling film the entire country. The UK just entirely wrapped in cellophane.
That's true. Hey, don't worry about the carbon emissions and that. The planet can't die.
Well,
There's no
exactly.
death.
You know what'd be great? If you'd won something for life.
That
you know,
would
do
be
those competitions
fantastic.
where it's like, I don't know, win
Free pizza for
for
life.
life. And then the company's like, that's all right, he'll only live till he's whatever.
Yeah.
Now he's living forever. They got to forever give him free pizza.
They call the lawyers in immediately. We've
Okay, is there a
got a problem.
loophole in this situation now? His life is eternal. Yeah, so that would be pretty annoying.
They would be. Got to remember a lot more of your family members' names now. Big old families.
Yes.
I already struggle with extended family, remembering everyone's names, remembering everyone's birthdays. It's going to be tough. Although that does mean lots more birthdays. Probably almost multiple birthdays per day.
Yeah.
You just work that into your daily, cake. It's cake time. Breakfast, lunch, cake.
Like, you know, just generally birthdays, weddings, that sort of thing. Could be a huge guest list, aren't they?
Exactly.
Who's this? Oh, it's my great granddad.
We might need to come up with a new system. Maybe it'd be like, he's my G7 granddad.
Oh, I like that. That's
You-
gangster.
yeah.
It is G7, this one.
This one's his G7.
G4
Don't know
over
his
it.
name. Can't remember
G4
it.
over it.
I guess that means that the mixture of like family trees would start intertwining a lot more, and you'd kind of recognize it. You'd be like, "Oh, you're my G3 sister and my G9 brother. You can't do this."
Maybe, but like surely the ages, as we established, we'll still be aging quite a lot.
Oh, that's true.
So a 20-year-old and a 1,000-year-old probably aren't going to be doing it.
Yeah, if they even can.
I don't reckon they can. Do you reckon we start having new established rules for what becomes an adult? You know, currently 18 is generally considered the age to become an adult. But now that is such a small percentage of age. That's basically like being like a month old in Eternal.
Well, 0.2 old,
But like,
in
you know, 'cause
Eternal.
it would forever keep getting smaller because currently the oldest person would be 100.
That's true.
In 100 years, the oldest person would be 200. So then, you know,
Yeah.
the span of life is only as old as the oldest person is, I guess.
So you could be 102 years old, but still classed as a baby. As a
Eventually.
toddler. Eventually,
Once
obviously.
we're 10,000 years into this deathless world. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is. I'm glad you said it. Thank you.
No, but I imagine, like, but maybe not, because I still think, like, our cognitive thing still grows at the same rate. Like, we still can do everything that...
Yeah, you can still drive a car
yeah.
pretty safely when you're 18. If anything, that will end quicker because
Yeah.
once you're this brain
I almost
jar,
feel that, yeah, like, if we do still age and, you know, disintegrate... That's not the right word.
Yeah, you know,
but,
it works.
That thing, get old and sort of become decrepit, then, yeah, there is only a very finite amount of years where we are useful, which is what the current years we are. So, sort of, you know, adulthood to 80, 90.
Yeah.
Then the remaining 400, 500, 10,000 years are kind of pointless. You're just a brain in a jar. So,
So the younger people, there'll be a lot more jobs of jar cleaners.
no, that's true.
That will rise rapidly.
Yeah, maybe population problems won't be an issue because we can just store most of the people in a warehouse if they're just all brains.
Yeah. Which makes going to a birthday party a little bit easier as well. Just go to a shelf.
Happy birthday, mate.
Just dropping a bit of cake in the jar water, like a fish food.
Yes.
Halloween. What are you going to dress up as? Most things are dead. They don't exist anymore.
Maybe that's more the fun of it. It's like, fantasy, isn't it? Oh, do you remember the times when people used to die?
Well, I guess it's kind of a celebration of death anyway, isn't it? Of old Halloween.
That's Day of the Dead, isn't it?
Is it? I think there's multiple. I can't remember what Halloween is all about, actually.
I don't know. I think it's people like sweets.
Oh, no, I think it was... I'm remembering now. I'm honestly not Googling it right now. I promise. I know people can't tell, but...
He is.
I'm not.
He is.
I'm not.
He actually is.
I'm
It's funny
not.
that I can make him seem
Oh, no,
like he
wait. You can tell I'm not because I'm trying to remember it. So it is... Back when in October, a lot of people used to die, and they used to think that it was like, oh no, that's a shame, innit? A lot of spirits and stuff must be happening at around this time of year. So let's make peace offerings to them. So they would like
Give them sweets.
give them sweets. They would like give them fruit and veg and
dress
stuff,
up
and
as them.
burn fields and stuff. And I think it evolved into being like, hey, we're spirits.
Oh, and then it evolved to people being like, I want to get some of these offerings. I'm going to dress up as a spirit.
I'm gonna pretend.
And then they'll give me some sweets.
That's pretty much how it happened. Yeah, but come on, name some scary things you could dress up as that aren't dead.
Werewolf.
Yep.
Axe murderer. But I guess you can't murder anyone, so they're not that scary anymore.
They're just a tree chopper.
Lumberjack. Bat.
Yeah, doing pretty well here, actually.
Devil.
Arguable.
Hell. It's
Sort
death,
of.
sort of,
But
isn't it?
it's still kind of related to death. He's not got a job really either.
No.
Doors are shut now.
Oh, again, retirement.
Lock in. It's a lock
But
in.
we still got to deal with all the people who currently are down there.
Yeah, but you can make that efficient. Got no new people coming in really. That's the main.
No more expansion.
Yeah, exactly. You just sell with what you got.
Yeah.
It's all good. Have you given much thought to new uses for crematoriums and coffins and stuff?
Not really.
Doesn't look like you have. I have.
Go on.
Luckily. So I'm thinking a crematorium could be a bakery. You could call it Fun Earl's Parlour, because that's a little anagram there of funeral. Funeral parlour becomes Fun Earl. Don't even need a new sign. Rearrange. Or it could be Real Fun Parlour, if your name's not Earl. Which most people
Most people's
aren't.
isn't. So the second one's probably wider.
But
appeal.
also, crematorium sounds like a place where they sell cream-filled delights.
Crematorium.
It's a crematorium. It's
You just
fantastic.
added another E in there. Perfect.
It's great.
Crematorium.
So that's your
Hold on.
sign
How do you
budget.
spell crematorium?
But it's, you could call it Creme de la Crematorium. And the coffins, quite comfy in there, padded.
You reckon that'll become the seating?
And things like that. Lay in a coffin. Having an eclair.
Beautiful.
Wonderful. It's the life. It's going to be such a fun place to go to now. I really want a cookie now.
Should we go and get a cookie?
Should we go get a cookie?
All right, in that case, there we go. I think that'll do us for today. Hope you enjoyed listening.
Yeah, let's get out of here nice and quickly. Let us know your thoughts about a world without death. Are there any extra weird side effects that you can think of that we didn't mention? Probably. If you're listening on YouTube, you can let us know down in the comments.
If you're listening on any of the popular podcast places, you can tweet us at krisandjack. That's Kris with a K.
Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.